work that you've done. While you were speaking, I wrote down a couple of questions. You mentioned that the first couple of courses, the scope was too large.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, are you working on new courses with like a smaller scope?
Well, when we say courses, it's like I don't like provide a course. I don't like teach them anything. It's more like a project. Like when I tell them, okay, I'm proposing that you guys build this specific application. So the first projects that they built. So I was saying like, okay, I want something for the financial like dashboards, and then I want to be able to download all the transactions, and then I want to be able to see like the big ledger and then categorize everything. But you see, there's like too many functionalities. And there was too much work basically for the teams to push. So that what happens is in the end, there was no functionality that was like super good that we could implement and then just maintain. So what happened is the project just closed, and then what I did is I used that project with future projects. So like we're building.
Awesome. The other question that came to my mind during my term as a chief delegate and having our calls with Aaron Cox, he would often say that the documentation on EOSIO is not good enough for developers. And then we're talking about junior developers here. So what are your thoughts on like, because I'm also thinking of like the teachers, like the teachers need to teach it. They don't know EOSIO. And so the project needs to have a lot of documentation behind it. What's that look like?
Yeah, so for sure, EOSIO is lacking documentation. So some students, let's say, want to build things on with NFTs and atomic assets, but there's a lack of documentation there. So Denny, our CTO, is going to give them some guidelines and tell them, well, you gotta check the code and then like find a way to like understand what happened there and try to figure it out, basically. But yeah, there's a lack of documentation. So we should push maybe on Pomelo or direct funding, or I don't know, just to get some of these projects like atomic assets and everything EOSIO, basically, to have better documentation so it's easy to onboard new people. But even with the current documentation, like the students still get to build something, but for sure it would help out to get better documentation. Yeah, so there are students, they don't even know EOSIO, and then they need to start. So yeah, it's harder for them for sure.